It can be found in almost every building on Eastern Michigan University's campus, and even in surrounding businesses of Ypsilanti. You most likely pass it when you are walking to class, or to your residence hall, maybe through the library, and in and out of the Student Center. A small group of dedicated students and some faculty artfully craft the content of today and tomorrow each week for things that are happening around the campus. Created with precise craftsmanship and carefully assembled by human hands and industrial tools, newspapers take a lot of labor to come into fruition. From raw materials refined into thin sheets of paper and ink, and the reporters who diligently gather raw information and hone in on key components are critical to the production and dispersal of the news. Newspapers in America began as a way to spread information and become an important political force with regards to the American Revolution. This trend continued after the United States gained its independence, and newspapers took the role further of providing political information to the citizens and the backing of religious institutions. The Eastern Echo was formed in 1881, where it was previously called the Normal News. The college had not yet undergone its renaming to Eastern Michigan University and was known as Michigan State Normal School. This newspaper is an organization that is run solely by the students, and a faculty advisor is there to help with obtaining advertisements and to make sure that the student journalists are abiding by the university's rules. The Normal News worked to cover local campus events and activities and happenings in the local Ypsilanti community. The organization underwent a name change in 1899 when the school became a university and its name was rebranded to Michigan State Normal College. The newspaper changed accordingly to the Normal College News. In 1956, the Normal College News changed their name for a second and final time to the Eastern Echo, corresponding with the school's name change to Eastern Michigan University. The Echo continued to serve the students as it previously had, by carefully and meticulously gathering relevant information from all around the campus and surrounding local community. This practice continues to this day. One of the major events that catapulted the Echo to its prominence was a crime spree in 1987, when a deviant student began a spree of destruction by setting fire to a series of residence halls around campus, wreaking havoc and causing deep concern among the students. A series of 5 fires, which were later confirmed to be arson, occurred within a single month of school, encouraging panic within the residence halls where the fires had taken place. The student was eventually caught and tried for his crimes, but the harrowing experience demonstrated how important communication was among students in a time of danger and fear. The Eastern Echo kept its viewers informed about the threat level and evened out any rumors that had been passed by word of mouth. In a time when newspapers were the most informative resources, the Echo proved itself a viable newspaper that would eventually become accredited by numerous outstanding awards. The Echo has continued to cover some of the many major events that take place on campus every year, and some of those have had serious implications for the way that crime is reported specifically, as well as for the university as a whole. In 2006, the Echo followed the entirety of the story about the sexual assault and murder of Laura Dickinson, a student on Eastern Michigan University's campus. Dickinson was murdered on campus in her residence hall, and what followed was one of the largest cover-ups in EMU's history. The investigation initially ruled her death as a result of natural causes. But Dickinson was an otherwise healthy individual, so it seemed suspicious. The Echo kept with this story from the moment that she was found dead in her dorm room to the subsequent arrest and trial of the murderer. The implications of this cover-up were severe. Several high-ranking administrators on the university staff were let go, and the school itself was found in violation of the Clery Act. This act states that universities that receive federal aid are required to report any and all crimes on or near campus. The fine that EMU had to face was the largest that any university in violation of the Clery Act has ever had to pay. While the story was covered by many news outlets, students were able to get the information much easier and quicker through the publication of the Echo. In February of 2016, Echo sports writers Eric Coughlin and Andrew Marshaka put together an article that sent the athletic department into a frenzy. They put together the article which headlined, "Empty Seats, the Athletic Department's Battle to Fill the Convo for Basketball Games." This article was about the inability of the athletic department to get people into the seats at the Convocation Center. The athletic department became enraged when they saw the article as it could bring some unwanted attention to EMU. Some of the details from this article will even be featured in an HBO program where they talk about schools with struggling attendance. It is important that the Echo is able to cover these stories because they are currently the only local news source for campus and even the events that occur in the surrounding Ypsilanti community. Students are able to get information from MLive, which is a news conglomerate. But the closest of their locations is in Ann Arbor, and they only produce news online. The Echo is the only print edition of the news for this area. One of the only other local newspapers was the Ypsilanti Citizen that was created in 2008 by an EMU alumni. This helped ease the burden of covering everything. However, they were unfortunately unable to keep the business running due to the inevitable decline of print news. They had to close their doors, with regret, in 2010, once again leaving the Eastern Echo responsible for keeping students up to date with information about the campus and the surrounding community. Since the organization is run by students that are paid for the positions that they hold, it is difficult to get funding to assemble this massive project. In order to pay for the production, it is up to the student faculty advisor, Kevin Devine, who oversees the selling of advertisements. His work is vital because the paper is entirely funded in this manner. The Echo has produced many influential stories that were extremely well written, enough to the point that the newspaper has received many state and national awards. Since the 1970s, the paper has won 13 Pacemaker Awards from the Associated Collegiate Press, which is the highest student publication award that can be obtained. It also has won many other state awards each year from the Michigan Collegiate Press Association. Some challenges the Echo faces today are getting students to actually commit to the stories they write and keep a consistent flow of coverage. The current journalistic landscape is changing, with transition to the idea of digital first, where news outlets write and post the stories as soon as they have been covered or even as they are occurring. This is a challenge for the Echo, because they are mostly print publications, so they hold onto their stories until the paper is released. Another challenge to the Echo is appealing to a difficult demographic. The average age of Eastern Michigan students is much higher than other universities. The average is 24 and a half years of age. At other schools, the average tends to be around 20. This makes maintaining a reader base difficult because students that are older typically have busier lives and less time to pay attention to local campus news. The Eastern Echo is always looking for expanding its staff, so if you're interested in joining to write, edit, or photograph for the organization, you can visit their offices in King Hall, on campus, or call them to make an appointment with an editor. The number is 734-487-1010 and help contribute to the Eastern Echo.